Hey guys, welcome back. Today I thought we could do a little video wherein I talk about products I've been reaching for as I put them on too. Okay, the first thing is an eye primer. I think I've talked about it a couple times now, but that's the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. This is the kind of shit I hate buying so much. Like, I hate going to pick up essentials like mascara and eye primers and stuff like that. So this had been like sitting rotting in my makeup collection, and I pulled it out just to use it up when I was done with my other eye primer, and I've really been liking it. I feel like it's something that I would actually repurchase if I don't find something else in between then in the depths that I like more. The only thing that's weird about this, and perhaps this speaks to the staying power for you, it is like impossible to get off of my palette. Like, I have to like scrape it off of my palette. So that's just like a fun, weird thing. So I'm just putting that on with a little brush. I'm putting it on with a babier brush than I normally do because I already did my brows. Because they kind of like, I didn't like really take my brows off last night because I was just being kind of lazy. So then I was like, I'll just touch them up. And I'm just going to set that with my next product that I've been reaching for a lot, which is the By Mario Master Mattes palette. So I'm just gonna grab this shade and I kind of mix it with that shade right there. I've been using basically exclusively this palette. When I first got it, I wasn't like completely in love with it. And I mean, I feel like it's still, I think because it's like just such a plain normal palette, it's like incredibly functional, but it's something that doesn't come to mind as like, oh, that's like my holy grail, you know? I don't feel like the formula is something that is like mind-blowing or anything like that. It's just a good neutral palette, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. Basically every time I do my makeup, I reach for it. Because it's not something that's particularly unique, and there's nothing particularly unique about the formula for me, I wouldn't say to like run out and grab it right now because you need it, but it's something that like if you've been trying to work through like other neutral palettes that you have, and you finally get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to like invest now in a new neutral palette, then I would say hell yeah. And it's a good starter palette too. Like, if you're newer to makeup and you just want like a good standard go-to, I'd say it's really good for that as well. Also good for killing spiders. I was doing my makeup and a spider just dangled down from the ceiling and landed on my desk and was like, and just started crawling towards me, and I took this palette and squished it. Here's something else, okay? Let's talk about this. I'm gonna be continuing to use this palette, so that's all fine and well. I'm gonna do like a little bit more of like a dramatic kind of crease. Let's not go as far as say like a cut crease, but it's gonna be, you'll see. Okay, so I posted on Twitter, as I do, a photo of this big ass spider. All these videos are gonna be so out of date because I'm pre-filming, but I still feel like you need to know. Look at this monstrosity. That thing is sick. I was walking the day before we found that in our home. Alyssa and I were walking outside at night, and I saw something walking across the street. This thing is big enough that it has to cross streets, okay? I saw something walking across the street, and at first I thought it was like a little mouse or something, and then as I got closer, I was like, oh, no, that's just a mouse-sized spider. And I told Matt about it. I was like, this spider was like gigantic. But I feel like anytime you tell someone that a spider's huge, they're like, probably wasn't that big. That shit was big. And then we went into the garage. Matt was like, come look at this. And the spider, probably the same one that crossed the street, came into our home, scooted up, kicked over its scooter, waltzed into our garage, and set up shop. And I was like, look at this thing. And like, as soon as I opened the garage door, it was like, I was standing probably like 12 feet away from it, and I could already see that the spider was on the wall because it was so gigantic. Anyways, I posted about it on Twitter. I'm just taking some light shadows and just kind of starting to carve out a little bit of like a crease and like outer V here. I posted it on Twitter, and all these people responded being like, no, just leave it, like it eats other bugs. I don't care about other bugs being in my home. I don't care about like small pests, like the only bugs we really get, like we don't get like a ton of mosquitoes in my area or anything like that. Really the only bugs that we deal with are like spiders and fruit flies and flies. Like, we're not swarmed with bugs. I understand if you're in the thick of Australia and you have like a bunch of like poisonous spiders that this nice spider is killing for you. That's great. I'm really happy for you and that relationship. That's not what's going on here. That spider's not doing much for me. Anyways, everyone was like, just take it outside or just leave it in your house. Just leave it. No. That's never going to happen.
What's never going to happen?
Me leaving that gigantic fucking spider in the house.
It brought back childhood fear that I didn't know I still had in me. That's how big it was. Goodbye.
Matt was like, this has been around for millennia. Anyways, I was shocked by how many people were like, you are the reason that our environment is being destroyed. I am so glad that you guys are chill leaving spiders in your home. I don't know that I'm going to get to that point ever. So long story short, I'm not above killing a spider that descends from the heavens onto my desk with my palette. And that's kind of, that's it. Okay. The other day I did kind of like a similar look, and I used my little Hakuhodo B5511 brush. It's like a little shader brush, and it's very thin. It's very nice. And I'm gonna dip into a darker color, a darker brown. And I'm going to just basically go for it. I'm just making kind of like a shape of sorts. A nice little V shape. And then as I have less product on my brush, I can pull it further into my inner corner. Matt could not be speaking louder in the garage than he is currently. And then I'm gonna try and make these match. But if they don't match, I don't care. And you shouldn't either. And I'm using a really light pressure here, fairly even to me. I'm gonna take this, ow, okay, I have this thing on my knee. I'm just gonna give you some life updates here about what's been going on. I have this like part on my knee that feels like it's bruised, but no bruise has come to light over the past week. I just don't know how to feel. Anyways, I'm gonna take my Sigma E47 brush, and I'm grabbing kind of like a medium color, slightly lighter than what we just put down. And I'm just using that to blend that little line out. Something went amok on this eye. I'm just taking my little fluffy brush, and I'm kind of blending over top of that. I'm going to take that little shader brush again, and I'm going to just add back to that outer corner while I contemplate what I want to do about this whole fucking situation. I think I'm just gonna grab like another little shader brush and one of the lighter colors in the palette. And I'm just going to kind of clean it up like that. I'm gonna leave that for right now. I might blend it out more later, but honestly I might not, because I don't care at this point. Like I think maybe it will just be a little dramatic look. This is not something I've been reaching for, as you'll be able to clearly see. But what does that smell like? sunscreen maybe? Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna use this from Dose of Colors. It's in the shade Extra Baggage, just because I do have my Tarte brown liner, but it's so dry. It's so dry. And this one might be past the point of usage as well. I don't know, but I'm gonna try it. I just like a little brown liner moment from time to time. Sue me. No, this seems slightly less dry than my other one. Okay, great. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a wing here. Okay, so while I'm doing my liner, I'm keeping it as thin as I can on my inner corner. And I'm flaring it out a little bit more towards the end, but I'm also not worrying too deeply if it's like a little messy, because life's a little messy. Because I'm gonna go over it with a powder shadow. So everything's gonna be fine anyways. So let's not stress about it. Okay, so I'm gonna take a dark brown from this palette here. Actually, I'll probably will I? Yeah, I probably will like dot back and forth between those two. And I'm just going to go over top. And this will kind of not only smooth out any like bumps that we maybe had in our liner, but it also kind of gives it this nice sort of like just very slightly diffused smoky look, which I think is a very nice time. So when I'm on my inner corner, I like to pick up the shadow right on the edge of like how I'm gonna be positioning, because I hold my brush almost more parallel to my face rather than like straight out, because I find when I get it straight out, it makes kind of like a little bit of a bigger line and I feel like I have a little bit less control. So when I hold my brush almost parallel to my face, I get a little bit more control and I'm able to get in tighter to my lash line. And I always just try to look down into my mirror while I'm doing liner too, rather than, I know some people like to like close their eye or like pull their eye out and do it. Aside from it not being like a good idea to pull on your eye anyways, I'm not able to get as accurate of an application because you're pulling your skin. So, you know, that results in like you taking your skin somewhere that it doesn't normally live. And then when you let it go, it's not going to look exactly the same as you wanted it to. And I'm just kind of taking what's left on my brush and sort of connecting those outer edges. Okay, I'm gonna take my little baby Q-tip and a tiny bit of makeup remover, and I just kind of wipe that on the back of my hand to take off any excess, ooh, fuck's sake, to take off any excess makeup remover. And then I'm just going to clean up the bottom edge of my liner there. And those Q-tips are from Muji. There's like a little bit of a dot there. And I'm going to try and use my Q-tip with makeup remover on it to just very gently, not actually remove it, but almost like blend it in. Close enough. Okay, I'm gonna curl my lashes and put on my Bite Upswing mascara, which is the next product that I've been reaching for and the only mascara that I've been reaching for. Basically since I started using it. It's still in my sample packaging. I'll never let it die. They sent me this mascara quite a while before it launched, just to try it and let them know if I wanted to do a sponsorship with them eventually. And it's been all that I've been using. Up next, House of Lashes Siren Flare lashes. These are such good lashes. I love them because I don't have to cut them like straight out of the box. They are just like a really good length, like this way for my eyes. And they're just like such a nice, like they're almost like a half lash kind of thing. Unless you have smaller eyes, in which case they'll probably just be a really comfortable full lash. But I just love them. They work great. And I've been reaching for them quite a bit because they're so comfortable and they just look pretty and less dramatic. I'm just gonna put on my little color corrector while those get tacky. And I'm gonna pop those on. Sometimes I lift up the outer corner to be actually above where my lash line is when I'm wearing a winged liner specifically, just because my lashes do, or my eyes rather, do like downturn just a little bit naturally, and I prefer for them to look more lifted. So rather than applying that outer corner tight to my lash line, if I know I can have it covered anyways because I'm wearing my winged liner, then I'll place it, like here's where my natural lash line is, and then that's where I'm putting the lash. So I'm just like, it's like a little gap there. And then I feel like it just helps make my eyes look a little bit more lifted. And then what I'll do is once my lashes are dry and they're really nicely attached and on there, I'll take a little bit more mascara and I'll just apply it right to that outer corner, just to kind of connect my natural lash with the fake one a little bit more. Okay, for my concealer, I pulled out kind of an oldie but a goodie recently because I was using my Hourglass, what do they call that? Hourglass, is it the Vanish Concealer? Oh my God, I can't even remember. I think it's the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, and I love that formula. I've chosen to not really support Hourglass anymore. Obviously, I'm going to continue to use my products from them that I have on hand, but I didn't want to necessarily repurchase, so I was trying to find another concealer, and I pulled out this one because I remembered really, really loving it, and this is the Oma Beauty Concealer. Oh, God. My ribs are like in a state right now. Oh, I haven't heard anybody mention this before. I'm going to put on this concealer. I really like it. This is another concealer I've been reaching for. This is another product I've been reaching for, rather. And I'm in the shade Fair Lady T2. Oh boy, that hurt. Okay, this one's a little bit darker than what I probably need right now, but it's still lovely. So nobody told me this symptom of pregnancy. I hadn't really heard it before. At this point, it was like a week ago. I had this really bad rib pain, and it was like just so bad. And I was like, I don't remember doing anything. Like I don't remember like hitting my rib on something or sleeping on it funny or anything like that. But I had this pain, and then it just didn't go away. So then eventually, a few days later, I Googled pregnancy rib pain, and they were like, oh yeah, babe, that's a fucking thing. No one told me, but apparently, because all your organs are getting pushed out of the way for your child to grow, it like pushes them up into your ribs. Some people can get fractures from this. Is that not absolutely outrageous? But like regardless, even if I don't get a fracture, the rib pain is like brutal and it's relentless. And when you sneeze or roll over in bed or try to yell at your dogs for barking, the pain is immense. It's so brutal. I just like can't believe that no one mentioned it before. Here I find myself feeling betrayed. Okay, the next product I've been reaching for a lot is my Fenty Skin Tint. I did a review on this guy, and I was so happy with it, and I've continued to be really happy with it. So I use shade 4. I just feel like it has not a ton of coverage, but like a good amount for me. It's definitely sheerer. If you really don't like sheer coverage, it may not be the one for you, but I love it. And I'm gonna use my little beauty blender to apply that. So I like to start more towards the center of my face because that's where I have the most kind of like redness and discoloration and stuff. And then as I have less product on my blender, I move towards the perimeter, down my neck, etc. So I'm keeping kind of the bulk of that pigmentation and application of that product right in the center of my face. Because I'm going around my brows that I've already done, I'm just kind of like squishing my beauty blender into like a little nugget, and I'm just going a little bit more carefully around those brows so I don't have to touch them up. I'm gonna take a little bit of that concealer and just apply it in this little area here where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. And that's it. For my bronzer, I haven't really been reaching for anything in particular. I kind of feel like I'm in between bronzers right now. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of like a cream, and I'm taking a little bit of that across my nose as well, just to add to the whole bronzy effect, you know? Okay, this is like the largest portion of the video because I've really been back on my blush bullshit, okay? You didn't know me in high school, probably, presumably. I mean, I don't know, maybe you did, but I have a colorful history with blush. I love a fucking blush, man. When I started, I used to never wear it, like when I was in high school and stuff like that, and then when I did start wearing it, it was like I was making up for years lost, for sure. Like, I would apply so much blush, and I knew it was so much, but I didn't care. I was like, this is the truth for me. This is my truth. Like, this is just the best way for me to live my life. I don't know. I had a great time, and that persisted for years. And those were the best years of my life. There came a time where I was like, that's crazy. That's like a crazy amount of blush. I'm going back to my roots in a big fucking way. I've been like just loving like a really heavy blush application lately. I definitely, during pregnancy, my cheeks have been really, really red and really, really textured and stuff like that. You would think that would make me shy away from blush, but actually I've like leaned even further into it because I'm like, can't see the redness on my face if you're seeing the redness in my blush. I think that's like a cute way to fucking combat that a little bit. Anyways, there's 3 blushes that I've been reaching for, 3 formulas I'll say because I have a couple different colors of each, but there's 3 formulas that I've been reaching for a lot recently. The first one is the Ilia Color Haze Multi-Use Pigment. So I have the shades Waking Up and Before Today, and I feel like actually the shade on the bottle is like a pretty accurate depiction of both of them. This is just a really pretty, easy to use sheer formula. It's not overly dry. It's not super, super glossy. So I feel like if you are somebody that has more like normal or oily skin and you still want to use like a cream blush, I feel like this, out of all the formulas I'm going to talk about, is probably more so what you would opt for. It still has a nice glow to it like you're going to get from most cream or like liquid blush products, but not in a way that's really, really over the top. The next one is my Nude Sticks Nudies Bloom. They have a matte color stick, which again, if you have oilier skin, you may prefer, or if you like just more of a matte kind of finish, you might prefer. But this is the Nudies Bloom one, and this one's a little bit more dewy. And that's in the shade Sweet Peach Peony. I'll show you side by side. This is the Ilia one. It's a little bit more sheer. This one is the Nude Sticks one's just kind of like swatched right on there, but it shears out really beautifully as well. This one's like, the Ilia one's a little bit of a thinner texture, and it does kind of dry down to be a little bit more matte. This one stays a little bit more glossy, and the texture is a little bit tackier as well. I don't find it tacky in a way where it's like uncomfortable to wear personally, but obviously take that with a grain of salt because like I would wear straight up like glue on my face if I felt like it was dewy enough. I'm not really bothered by textures like that. The reason I like this one is because I feel like it's really nice and glossy, but it wears super well because of that kind of tackiness to it almost. There are some blushes, and the one that I'm going to talk about next is a little bit more like this. There are some blushes that like, because there's so much glow and dew to them, they either will move around or they transfer a lot more easily or whatever. That one I feel like is kind of, it's just a good formula in that like it stays really nice and glowy, but it's a little bit longer wearing for me. Okay, this next formula, there's things that I really don't like about it, but overall, like I do enjoy the formula. This is the Say Dew Blush, and this is in the shade Rosy. This one is very, very liquidy. Like it can like, it's like more almost like water. And this one I would say, out of the 3, is like the glowiest in a different way. This one to me, the Nude Sticks one is like glossy. The Say one, when I swatch it, it looks almost more matte, but on my skin, Sorry, just somebody dropping off mail. On my skin, it stays almost like an oil glow. I feel like that's not like what anybody is looking for. I really like it because good God, because I just feel like it's just really nice and super glowy and glossy kind of thing. It's definitely a different texture. If you have oily skin, I can't see you opting for that and enjoying it. It does have kind of more of like an oil finish texture. Like when I like do my skincare and I put oil on, that's the finish that it has for me when it's all said and done. It's a different formula. It's a different situation. But that one definitely, it transfers a little bit more. It's probably not going to wear quite as long on you if you have more like normal or oily skin. If you have like really, really dry skin, I am sure that you will be able to wear it and not have like a huge issue with it. I like that formula a lot. I don't know what to tell you. So I've been reaching for those 3, but today I'm going to use my Ilia Color Haze Multi-Use Pigment. And I think I'm going to use before today, or no, Waking Up. I'm going to use Waking Up. So I'm just going to put that on the back of my hand, and I'll kind of just spread that one out a little bit, and then I'll dip in my e.l.f. 105 brush and kind of just dot it around, and then I'm going to stipple this over top. I just love it. I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup while I talk about the final product that I feel like I've been reaching for, and that is the Saie Brow Butter. Saie continues to be like a weird brand for me. I really like the formula of that brow product a lot. I feel like when I did my initial review, and probably in any videos I talked about it after, I talked about how I feel like it's a good brow gel because it's not super wet and it's not super dry. It's kind of like right down the middle. And so I feel like it applies really nicely on my brows without being so wet that it's like over depositing color, or so dry that it's not like depositing anything. It just coats your brows really, really well, provides like a little bit of like volume. Not really much hold. I usually go in with a clear brow gel afterwards, but it just makes them look nice and full and tinted, and it's great. Like a week after I started using it, I was like, is this empty? It's so bizarre. Like it literally, I don't think that this is what happened at all. This is what I'm just comparing it to. It's as if they sent me a brow gel that somebody else had been using for like 3 months. And so when I first used it, I was like, oh, this is great. And then like a week later, I was like, oh wow. Like I was like scraping like the sides of like the inner tube. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just that because the formula isn't super wet, maybe it just feels like there isn't much product in there. It's just an odd thing. Maybe it dries out really quickly or something. I just don't know. And initially when I bought it, I think in my very first video, I said like, I feel like it's worth the price point because like it's not, you know, outrageously outside of like what I normally pay for a brow gel. So I felt really good about it. I don't know that I would repurchase just because I feel like brow gels are something that I don't find myself having to replace that often. And so even though I use it every day, and I do use a brow gel almost every day, tinted brow gel every day, like even if I'm not going to wear makeup, that's like the one thing that I'll just kind of like quickly run a tinted brow gel through my brows just because I feel like it's a really quick and easy way to like look a little bit more put together kind of thing. So I'll do like lip balm, a little bit of brows, whatever. I don't think I would repurchase that because I just feel like it's a nice formula, but there's other formulas that I like as well that I will use for like 3, 4, 5 months before I get to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna need to reorder soon here. I just don't know. I don't know what's going on there, man. It's a weird thing. But anyways, I've been reaching for it because I like it. Realistically, I'm probably going to reorder my M Cosmetics tinted brow gel because I feel like that one, I love that formula and it lasted me a really long time. So that's it. All right, you guys, that is everything for me today. Those are some products that I've been reaching for, and kind of just like that wasn't a quick tutorial at all. That took me like an hour to film, approximately. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check the time. I could check the time right now, actually. 52 minutes. Felt longer, but probably because my ribs are in such severe pain. That's it. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.